Hello world, Wendy from Cali here, back with another mixed Manny chat. I am doing another Manny by number. Today it's going to be Grayscale Manny, this cute little bunny right here, that we will color in. Here are my naked nails, and the inspo actually came from my Sassvent pal, which if you are in Stacy Adams' Facebook group, you could have joined the Sassvent and be paired up with a pal. I had the bestest pal. Corey was amazing, and she gifted me for day 12 Snowed Out, which I've never worn before, but when I saw it, I knew that it was going to be my Grayscale man. So I'm pairing Snowed Out with Mind Matters, so that it's not all just snowflakes, because here in Cali, there's no snow where I'm at. So I don't want all my fingers to have the snow, but at least an accent here or there will be included. But here we go. So I do have a work event to go to tonight, and I wanted to be a little more formal, but not too much, because my workplace isn't really that formal. But we actually get to have dinner, an early dinner, which I prefer, at Lowry's. And I've never been to Lowry's before. I have tried their seasoning, but never actually been to a Lowry's. So I'm excited to go there and get some good food. And the fact that Panda Bear can be there with me makes it all worth it. So excited for that. I do have a haircut today with my hairstylist, Stephanie, just a trim. And my bangs are really getting long. She had cut them shorter than normal, specifically for my Halloween costume as Wendy from South Park. And now they've grown past my eyes and to the point where I'm just like needing them trimmed. So I have that going on today. Other than that though, it'll be a nice like chill day. I do plan on making more sourdough pizza dough, prepping that for the week, and likely some more sourdough bread. Corey had gifted me a jar of guava jam, which I'm so excited to bust open and eat with some sourdough bread. But I need to make sure I bake some more, because we are down to our last couple of slices here. So I'll need to work on that. Trying to get this out of its wrap without ruining any of them. And I don't want to cut the sleeve because I tend to like using the same sleeve to save any leftover strips. So the goal is to get the strips out of the sleeve without... There we go, got it. So yes, and because this is my first time using Snowed Out, I need to make a nail stick. In doing this Manny by number, that will leave 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 4 more? No, hold on. 1, 2, 3. No, 3 more. I just need 3 more to complete the Manny by number before the end of this month. So clock's ticking. Need to get a move on that one. I think what I really want to do is I want to use the thumb and the ring finger will have the same snowflake pattern. So likely it's going to be these two. And then the rest will be saved for another Manny. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Save these. So the last video I did Feeling Magical, which wasn't that long ago. But since that day, I have changed my mani one other time. The overlay that I was using for that mani by number was just too hard. Even after heating it down, it still had those like little bumpy bits that I just personally can't stand. And so I took the photo, and that mani lasted like about the time I took the photo, and then I switched it, used the rest of the power suit strips, leftover power suit strips, and I had added gnomes to the mani, and that mani was what I had worn for the rest of the week. And I just took that off this morning. It's super early in the morning, but I can't help myself. Sometimes I will wake up early in the morning and I can't go back to sleep. And so when that happens, I'll just do other things. And then if I'm lucky, I will get a chance to take a nap later. Today, likely there won't be a nap, but that's okay because, as I mentioned, the dinner's relatively early, so I don't anticipate us being out late. And this week's Sunday brunch that Mama Carla is making for us is going to be New England colonies. So she is making New England clam chowder, and I'm excited about that for tomorrow. But yeah, what else am I excited? I am excited. We started decorating at the office for Christmas. I kept telling my coworker that I would help, but it's been super busy at work, and I haven't had the time to help. I was able to help decorate for Halloween and for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas, it's been rough trying to find time. We have projects that are overlapping each other that were pushed to the end of the month, of course, the end of the year. And so also because it's the holiday season, we have a lot of upcoming time off that folks are taking. So what that usually means for me is a lot of extra work. So that on top of helping homeschool and wanting to cook at home for my family has left me with no time. And our fridge, so when I make soaps from scratch, I need to be able to put these soaps when they're in the mold in the fridge for at least 24 hours. But we haven't had any fridge space, so that's been difficult. And so I've told Panda Bear that if he helps clear out our back fridge, then I'll be able to make more soaps. So I haven't had a chance to make new soaps. We've been using our last bits, the last stash, which I kind of sort of like messed up just a teeny tiny bit. The stash had, I was experimenting basically, and the stash was, it came out lumpy. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which strips of these I'm going to actually need. It came out lumpy, so even though it still smelled amazing, it's not gift worthy. So it's the stash that we've just been using up ourselves. And I'm okay with that. It's just that I had wanted to intentions. I had wanted to make soaps this year, possibly gift them, and that didn't quite happen this year, so maybe next year. But what I do want to do, my Sassvent pal Corey had given me 2 different recipes. One for reindeer food, which looks very much like Muddy Buddies, and another recipe for shortbread that sounded really amazing. I wanted to bake this week or next week. Let me see. What is this week? It might be next week, actually, because next week is the week, the one that's after this coming week. That's the one that is Christmas week. So I likely will want to bake a bunch of stuff to gift to certain individuals this year. So that is the goal. I know I do have to start wrapping presents because Christmas is literally around the corner. Have you all gotten all your shopping done? If you have a lot of shopping to do, Panda Bear and I are like 90% done with our shopping. We're the types that like to buy things throughout the year with Christmas in mind, as well as kind of gauge what the kids, it's mostly for the kids really, but to gauge what they are interested in. And then buy those like big key items during this time of year. So we're still working on that, but just say we're about 90% done, which is great because not having to think about Christmas presents will be super helpful. Because I had to adjust my schedule this coming week for work, I'm not able to provide my nieces their science lesson on Thursday this week, but I'm creating a final exam. So we're basically done with first quarter. So I'm creating a final exam, which Panda Bear said that he would help on Thursday have the girls take their final exam. It's basically going to be all of the pop quizzes I had given them. So I had told them it's not open book this time. The pop quizzes were all open book, but I'm trying to teach them how to prepare and study. So I told them, like, it's literally going to be all your pop quizzes rolled into one final exam. And the final exam is going to be worth 50% of their grade. So they've been told this at our science lessons on Thursday of this week. So they're aware. So let's see how prepared they are. I've been slowly putting together their report card, which includes the science, art, home economics, attendance, and participation. So those are the key factors that I am providing a grade for. This is how I would grade. So I'm not giving them a letter grade because I believe schools nowadays don't even give the A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's that I was used to when I was going to school. At least not that I'm aware of anymore, but or for elementary school, I should say. So my grading score, I do have the A, B, C, D, F, but it's related to numbers. So it's a number scale of 1 through 5, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. And so you kind of line up those 5 numbers with the 5 letters of of the alphabet. And if the student is just showing up, meaning, they show up to my lesson and they're not like really showing like full participation or whatever, they're showing, mild participation, they'll get a 4, which is like a B grade basically. But if they go above and beyond in the lesson, trying to answer questions, raising their hands to want to volunteer to read, those kinds of efforts will then be rewarded with a 5. So I'm just going through all of my attendance logs and just looking at the lessons again and recalling the participation of each of the girls and putting it into an Excel spreadsheet, because that's the type of gal I am. I like creating spreadsheets. I like tracking things. It's the way I work. So I will be presenting those grades to Panda Bear, and Mama Carla has her grades that she'll be preparing for her lessons that she's done with the girls. Panda Bear has, his specific lessons. Even Edgar has his lessons too. So we'll create like a final report card to present to each of the girls at the end of the year for their first quarter with homeschooling. So we're all learning this as we go, and it's been a lot of fun so far. A lot of work, lot of work, but also just a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. When I went to school, when I was in college, I had thought about possibly going into teaching, and I had a minor in education and digital arts. I had majored in sociology because one of the professors when I had entered in college was just very impactful. I went in undecided, undeclared, and I ended up choosing sociology only because it was fascinating. The professor just made that subject just really shine. So yeah, that's how I landed on the major. And I used to tutor when I was in college. So I babysat and I tutored. So it was one of those things where I really thought that I wanted to go into teaching. Of course, after graduating from college, I realized that to be a teacher, you have to go back to school and get a teaching credential, or at least at the time. I don't even know how it is now, but at the time I needed a teaching credential, and that meant more schooling. And I was like, hell to the no. Pardon my French. I was like, nope, I'm done. So I was working for a tutoring center for a little bit before I ended up working at a law firm that one of my college friends was working at, and he got me in by submitting my resume to the law firm, and it was really nice working there. But now I don't work there anymore, obviously. I've been working at the place I work at now for over 20 years. And yes, I do still get to teach in a sense, because as a manager, I train the newer employees, and I provide training to, the more seasoned employees if they need training for anything new. So I do get that rewarding feel of teaching still, but being able to homeschool now is really tapping into my drive to teach. And so it's been a blessing to be able to be part of the homeschooling process, even while working a full-time job. So we all do our part and we make it work. And so far it's been awesome. I don't know, for those that watch this channel and watch my vlogs, have heard me say that, one of the children came to us and she was way behind. So public school was not doing her any services, unfortunately, because public schools, although, I admire teachers, there's just not enough, like, teacher to student ratio, not enough time to give the personal attention that certain children really need, that extra attention, and have a personalized lesson plan for them to catch up. So we did initially, when she was still going to public school, put her in Kumon for a little bit, and that helped, but it wasn't enough. And so now in private school, she gets the luxury of having more one-on-one attention, and we are able to kind of see her progress. She went from not being able to read very well, so like almost like pre-kindergarten level, and now she's at the second grade level. We're still trying to catch her up. She's age-wise supposed to be fourth grade level, so she's trying to catch up, and she's doing an amazing job. But yeah, it's still taking more time and effort, but we're willing to put in the work. We want her to thrive, and she's now in an environment that is conducive to thriving, not only for her mental state, but emotionally, physically. She's eating better, and it's just a wonderful change for her. But yeah, this is the final Manny. Mind Matters with Snowed Out. Thank you, Corey, my Sassvent pal, for this lovely set of Snowed Out. It is so beautiful, and just the accent nails with the subtleness of it is going to give me that elegant vibe. My dress is like a plaid, like red, black, which I'm sure I'll show a photo from tonight. But yeah, that's the Manny here. But while we're here, we got to color in really quick. So grayscale Manny, I of course only pulled out gray, black, and white because that is what grayscale means. So really quick, I wanted to color in the little bunny with the color pencils here, and I'm going to use the black to trace everything. Subtly. There we go. And then the gray is obviously going to go over the gray. And it'll probably look like I did nothing different to this bunny. But you know what? Just a little subtle color, because it is Manny by number. We got to color it in, right? That white is very vibrant, though. That looks nice. And then we're just going to slightly color it in with the... Oh, that's not what I want to do. There we go. I muddied it up with the water, didn't I? But it's a grayscale bunny who's been rolling in the dirt. Alright, if you've been watching this all the way through, thank you for watching. Please feel free, like, comment below. A little bun and a snowflake. So this little bunny rabbit and snowflake for tonight. Well, I mean tonight. It's this morning. Whenever you're watching this. Mind Matters, Snowed Out. Ooh, Mind Matters. You know what? Bunny, snowflake, Is there a brain emoji? If there's a brain emoji or that little mind blown emoji where it's like the little face with the mind blown, comment that below if you have nothing else to comment. Otherwise, you can comment saying how much more Christmas shopping you've got left to do on the day that you're actually watching this video. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Peace.